Although the false ego has no actual factual base, it is perceived in many forms as a function of the mind, speech, life, and bodily faculties. But with the sword of transcendental knowledge sharpened by worship of bona fide spiritual master, a sober person will cut off this false identification, live in this world free from all material attachment. So you see how false ego can be overcome with the help of a spiritual master, sharpened by the worship of spiritual master, but with the sword of transcendental knowledge sharpened by the worship of a bona fide spiritual master. So in this context, there's another verse.
What's that loud? So loud.
You see here, unless one is enlightened by knowledge given by the spiritual master, he cannot see things as they are, even though he remains constantly with the spiritual master. So do you understand this verse?
Yep.
Yes, bro.
So see, nowadays everybody is writing big, big books, but how they spend their time with Prabhupada. But absolutely they have no spiritual knowledge. So you see how it's so important that they have done very direct service to Prabhupada. Hmm?
Yep.
Knowledge wise, you see, unless one is enlightened by the knowledge, it is not so much of a physical association. So if you cannot be enlightened by knowledge, then all your association with your guru is pointless. Are you following?
Like the fly on the shoulder of the king. Close
Correct.
association.
Correct. So you see, because they have offended Prabhupada, therefore this knowledge is not available to them. Understand?
Yeah.
Let's explain
Yep.
also this verse.
What's that loud teeth?
4-3.
Because you are my devotee as well as my friend, you can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of the science. So it is some kind of a blessing from the spiritual master.
Yep.
Mystical, as we use the word here. The word here is rahasyam, mystery. So therefore the relevance of spiritual master is so important in spiritual science.
Yes.
So if we try to disobey Prabhupada, then all these things become very complicated. Understand? Then Krishna covers, he covers everything. Like
Please go for me here. Will go for me. Wait, see.
Yes, Prabhupada is there.
Hare Krishna,
Where's my cat?
Tattva is not around. Who is this?
It's mommy.
You can understand this. Can you read this?
Yes, bro. Want me to read?
Yeah.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, who possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, acting from within the cause of the hearts of all philosophers who propagate various views. He causes them to forget their own souls while sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing among themselves. Thus he recreates within this material world a situation in which they are unable to come to a conclusion of my humble obeisance unto him.
So that.
Want to read this too?
Yeah, why not?
From this time immemorial, or since the creation of the cosmic manifestation, the conditioned souls have formed various parties of philosophical speculation. This is not true of the devotees. Non-devotees have different ideas of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, and therefore they are called the Vadis and Pratyavadis, proponents and counter-proponents. It is understood from the statement of Mahabharata that there are many munis or speculations. All speculations must disagree with other speculators, otherwise why should there be so many opposing parties concerned with asserting the supreme cause? Philosophy means finding the ultimate cause, as Vedanta Sutra very reasonably says, Athato Brahma Jignasya. Human life is meant for understanding the ultimate cause. Devotees accept that the ultimate cause is Krishna, but this conclusion is supported by all Vedic literature and also by Krishna himself. He says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. I am the source of everything. Devotees have no problem understanding the ultimate cause of everything, but non-devotees must face many opposing elements because everyone who wants to be a prominent philosopher invents his own way. In India, there are so many parties of philosophers such as Dvaitavadis, Advaitavadis, Vaisheshikas, Mimamsikas, Mayavadis, Swabhavadis, and each of them oppose others. Similarly, in the Western countries, there are also many philosophers with different views of creation, life, maintenance, and annihilation. Thus, it is doubtly a fact that there are countless philosophers throughout the world, each of them contradicting the others. Now, one might ask why there are so many philosophers if the ultimate goal of philosophy is one. Undoubtedly, the ultimate cause is one, the Supreme Brahman, as Arjuna told Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 10:12. Param Brahma Bahadama. You are the Supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode, and the purifier, the absolute truth and the eternal divine person. You are the primal God, transcendental and original, and you are the unborn and all-pervading beauty. Non-devotee speculators, however, do not accept an ultimate cause because they are ignorant and bewildered concerning the soul and its activities. Even though some of them have a vague idea of the soul, many speculators are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 16:19-20. Those who are envious and mischievous are the longest among men, who are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, and to various demoniac species of life, attaining repeated birth among the species of demoniac life. Such persons can never approach me. Gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Because of their envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, non-devotees are born in demoniac family life after life. They are great offenders, and because of their offenses, the Supreme Lord keeps them always bewildered. Pravanti Shaisam Moho Atma Moham. The Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, purposely keeps them in darkness. Atma Mohan. The great authority Parashara, the father of us, the father of Vyasadeva, explains the Supreme Personality of Godhead thus. Jnana. Demoniac speculators cannot understand the transcendental qualities, form, pastime, strength, knowledge, and opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which are all free from material contamination. Vinaheya Goda Dibihi. These speculators are envious of the existence of the Lord, Jagat Ahu Anishwaram. Their conclusion is that the entire cosmic manifestation has no controller, but is just working naturally. Thus they are kept in constant darkness, birth after birth, and cannot understand the real cause of all causes. This is the reason why there are so many schools of philosophical speculation.
So you understand this?
Yes, Ru.
Hmm?
Understand? Yeah.
So therefore, whole idea is that if you are offensive to the Lord, then the Lord covers your intelligence, especially you're offensive to his dear devotee. See,
Yeah.
it's explained here also, because this verse, right? The Lord puts hundreds of obstacles in your path, right?
Yeah.
You know that one,
Yeah.
right? So one who rejects the guru, one who abandoned the feet of the spiritual master, encounter hundreds of obstacles in the cultivation of various distressful practices. You see that point? So
Yeah.
you can see here in this verse also, this is a very important verse that you can take note. I'm just going to go to a small part.
Okay.
You can read it when you have time. Huh?
Okay.
Anyone like to read this part here?
Sankashan Prabhu.
No, this one here.
Oh, I'm here, sorry. I'm just cooking at the moment at the same time.
Okay, here, can start reading this. The word Jiva Himsa.
Are you reading Sankashan?
Yeah, just read the word Jiva Himsa. Start from there.
Oh, okay. The word Jiva Himsa, envy of other living entities, actually means stopping the preaching of Krishna consciousness. Preaching work is described as parapakara, welfare activity for others. Those who are ignorant of the benefits of devotional service must be educated by preaching. If one stops preaching and simply sits down in a solitary place, he is engaging in ritual activity. If one desires to make a compromise with the Mayavadis, he is also engaging in ritual activity. The devotee should never make compromises with non-devotees. By acting as a professional guru, mystic, yogi, or miracle man, one may cheat and bluff the general public and gain fame as a wonderful mystic, but all this is considered to be dust, straw, and grains of sand within the heart. In addition, one should follow the regulative principles and not desire illicit sex, gambling, intoxicants, and meat.
So this is the symptom of a person who is not following the spiritual master.
Mm.
He wants to compromise. Understand?
Like you said, it starts with an egg, doesn't it?
Yes. He doesn't want to preach. That's material already. And if he
Yeah.
wants to compromise, if he stop preaching and simply sit down in a solitary place, he's engaging in material activity. If one desires to make compromise the Mayavadis, he's also engaging in material activity. That's where
Yeah.
ISKM is going. ISKM is trying to compromise.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yes, bro.
Devotees should never make compromises with non-devotees, which seems to be the trend with our so-called ISKCON nowadays. And they all are
Yeah.
graduating to become life coaches and I mean, what nonsense terminologies. You
Yeah.
understand? You follow, and you're also trying to do more social work. It's also a material activity.
Yeah.
You follow, all these are called weeds in the heart. So we should be very careful that we should not get ourselves contaminated by these things. That's why strictly following the order of the spiritual master, we have to do that. If we cannot do that, at least we should try to follow someone who is following, strictly.
Yes.
Then we will be enlightened with knowledge. You follow?
Yes,
Just
Prabhu.
give you an example. You were all with, Gokul man in, where's that? New Zealand.
Yeah.
How much knowledge you got from the guy?
Everything material but not spiritual.
You give a class for hours talking about all kind of mundane subjects.
Yeah, everything to do with the anti-ISKCON, really.
And not
Yeah.
one verse he would quote, this guy.
Yeah, nothing quoting. Yeah.
And I was with him and I gave the class in the Philippines. He asked me, Prabhu, I'm reading all these things, but why I don't understand? Why I don't understand all these things. How is it? You are
Oh,
explaining it.
you said this.
He said to me, but I'm also reading, but why I don't see all this?
I remember that.
Understand? So of course I
Yes,
have to say, humbly, you have to practice austerity and all this thing. But the real thing is that the guy says, Prabhupada said here, one must strictly follow. See that thing? One must strictly follow the regulatory principles. Yes?
and not the Zions.
He,
Yep.
he, I mean, you know him better. So we are giving you case studies. What is the difference? And not just saying that, oh, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad, and everybody is bad. No, we are saying the situation is that you must get knowledge. You must get enlightenment. You
Yeah.
follow? And that enlightenment is not just that you keep in your heart, you must preach.
Yeah.
And if you don't preach, then you sit down in one place. It's very common among householders, just to be with your family. Even I was also thinking like that. No, no, I'm all right. No, I have my wife and my son, my small temple there. I'm okay with it. It's not what Krishna wants. You understand?
Mm.
So we should be knowing this thing so that we will not fall into this pitfall.
What about Balaram and Rati? They changed to. They're still kind of practicing. Well, not so much practicing, but they've fallen away from Prabhupada to a Gaudiya month guru.
Prabhupada left Gaudiya Math to start ISKCON, and you are leaving ISKCON to go to Gaudiya Math. Something must be wrong somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't understand.
When you leave Prabhupada, that means what is left for you? Gaudiya Math are selling Prabhupada books to make devotees for their Math.
You're right. That's offensive.
And they can't make any devotees. They cannot. They are using Prabhupada books to make devotees.
Mm.
You understand?
Yes, bro.
So therefore it is very important. One
Is that
second.
Narayan?
I'm just coming back. She's crying. One moment. Yeah, you go with her. Hey, Haribol, take her and go up. Take her and go up. Take her. No, I'm class now. I have class. Go up, go up. You go up. Okay.
Grandfather
No, she's
duties.
crying because she want to go to the mother and all this. So, okay, you see this point that I'm saying. So all these things are deviance because firstly you don't follow and then you try to compromise yourself. Hmm?
Yeah.
And as you do that, then you're only cheating yourself. That's why in our program we are very strict. We follow very strictly. And because we are following very strictly, then Srila Prabhupada is giving us all the enlightenment.
Mm.
Yes?
I
Yeah, every
understand.
time you talk to me, there's something new, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes? Because it is said like this. can read this verse.
Always engaging in the activities of devotional service, devotees feel ever increasingly fresh and new in all their activities. You all know the super soul within the heart of the devotee makes everything increasingly fresh. This is known in the Brahman position by the advocates of the absolute truth. In such a liberated stage, Brahmabhuta, one is never bewildered, nor does one lament or become unnecessarily jubilant. This is due to the Brahmabhuta situation.
So that
Yeah.
Krishna makes everything, See, always engage in the activities of devotional service. Devotee feel ever increasingly fresh.
Yeah.
They don't,
Not like a mundane factory.
they don't feel dried out. They don't feel, they're fried. And new in all their activities. Everything becomes very, what we say, they become very fired up.
Yeah.
Because the all-knowing, the super soul within the heart of the dev makes everything increasingly fresh.
Mm.
You follow?
Yes,
This
true.
life is based on this. We cannot we cannot try to change things. The moment you change, then everything is finished. We have seen. So these guys they have lost their enthusiasm with Prabhupada. Why? Because Prabhupada is insisting that they should wake up, morning, they should follow the four principles. So they want some easy way out. They want to compromise. So Gaudiya Math looks like the best choice.
Yeah.
Understand?
Certainly is for that.
And
Mhm.
Gaudiya Math will compromise because they have nobody there. Who is going there? Nobody. It's dead practically. Huh? Except for some, Bengalis running around with some beard. That's all. You
Yes.
follow? The test is the preaching dynamism. That is what actually counts.
Yeah.
You follow? And that means you must be armed with the knowledge coming from your spiritual master. That's now you read the first verse, that you must get transcendental knowledge, and this can be obtained from the spiritual master.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to do this, if you want to change things around, then you are cutting your link with the spiritual master. And
Mm.
if you cut the link, the result is that you will dry up and then everything will become very boring.
Yeah. That's true.
Understand? Then material desires will creep in the hearts. What are that? You want to get some compromisation, you want to get some fame, you want to get some distinction, you want to get some, you know, what do you call that? Worshipped by all this prophet, all this weeds will creep up. So we should be very careful. And then to keep everybody happy, you have to be very diplomatic. Yes,
Yeah. Definitely.
understand. So these are very dangerous things that we should be careful about. Spiritual life is like that, and it is all from the mercy of Guru and Krishna. You
Very
understand?
much.
You have questions?
Um. Yeah. Yeah. All very useful information, Prabhu.
Huh?
It was very nice classes.
Yeah, so this is what we have to be concerned about. Never mind you may be making devotees or not devotees. If you want to make devotees, this is actually explained here.
Oh, that's great.
You can read this, huh?
Translation.
Mm.
The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in the association of pure devotees and have become free from bad, materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. This is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. All the members of the Kuru dynasty offered respects when Krishna was leaving Hastinapur after the battle of Kurukshetra. Krishna was going to his own kingdom, and all the members of the Kuru dynasty were overwhelmed by his departure. This verse was spoken in that connection by Sutta Goswami. A pure devotee becomes attached to Krishna by hearing the Lord's glories. The Lord's glories and the Lord himself are identical, and one has to be qualified to understand this absolute truth. Therefore, one should be given a chance to associate with a pure devotee or a Krishna. The Krishna conscious movement is meant for this purpose. We want to create pure devotees so that other people will benefit by their association. In this way, the number of pure devotees increases. Professional preachers cannot create pure devotees. That's a good point. There are many professional preachers of Srimad Bhagavatam who read this work to earn their livelihood. However, they cannot convert materialistic people to devotional service. Only a pure devotee can convert others to pure devotional service. It is therefore important for all the preachers in our Krishna conscious movement to first become pure devotees and follow the regular principles, refraining from illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. They should regularly chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on their beats, follow the devotional process, rise early in the morning, attend Mangalati, and recite Srimad Bhagavatam and then Bhagavad Gita regularly. In this way, one can become purified and free from all material contamination. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all one's senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all senses. When spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme Lord, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designation, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. And to make a show, devotional service will not help one. One must be a pure devotee following the devotional process, then one can convert others to devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu practiced devotional service and preached, Vani Acharya Bhakti Karya Pachara. If a preacher behaves properly in devotional service, he'll be able to convert others. Otherwise, his preaching will have no effect. But that's
So
a nice
do you
verse.
understand this?
24.
You understand the points, eh?
Yep.
So spiritual life means, that is the trying to follow the spiritual master, 100%. The
Just want to
clear.
make a show.
Cannot make sure, it cannot be duplicitous, Yeah?
All these ISKCON gurus are preaching and making so-called devotees. They're not really devotees. They're materialistic people who want to follow
Because
someone.
no, they're coming because they read Prabhupada books. That's the main thing, the catch. But they were not
Yeah.
able to elevate them. That is the point. They keep them in the third class position, and as a result, many leave.
Yeah.
Understand? You see, like in our camp, yes, you all came, but not many have left us,
Uh,
You understand? So the few we have, they are trained. Do you understand? And that's more important. Keeping man is more important than making
so if
men.
Prabhupada brings them in, and
Yes.
then
And these guys,
push them.
they just use them for all kind of nefarious activities, selling I don't know, this guy in New Zealand, he uses all of them and get all their credit facilities and keep them all for his account. And I don't know what the guy is doing. It's all strange.
Mm.
Many of them,
Yeah.
they come sincerely, then they're pushed on the street to collect money and all that thing, whole day and night, they just get fried.
Yeah, exactly.
You understand? The main thing is to train them up, to give them the knowledge, to encourage them to go forward. Without knowledge, forget it. There's nothing will improve. This I showed you so many verses about getting this knowledge. Unless you're enlightened by the knowledge from the spiritual master, then your association with him is useless.
Exactly.
Hmm? So therefore, we should also hear, as Prabhupada said, if we don't do this, then we will become again Malacha and Yavana.
Mm. Oh, become militia Yavaner again.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can,
for sure.
we can read this.
The words Yavanam and Rishabam refer to the king of the Yavanas. The Sanskrit words Yavana and Mleccha are applied to those who do not follow the Vedic principles. According to Vedic principles, one should rise early in the morning, take bath, chant Hare Krishna, offer Mangalati to the deities, studying Vedic literature, and take prasad and engage in dressing and decorating the deities. One must also collect money for the temple expenditures, or if one is ever a householder, he must go to work in accordance with the prescribed duties of a Brahmana, Sattira, Vaishya, or Sudra. In this way, one should live a spiritual understanding, and this is the way, Vedic way of civilization. One who does not follow all these One who does not follow all these rules and regulations is called a Yavana or Mleccha. One should not mistakenly think that these words refer to certain classes of men in other countries. There is no question of limitation according to nationalism. Whether one lives in India or outside India, he is called a Yavana or Mleccha. He does not follow the Vedic principles. One who does not actually follow the hygienic principles prescribed in the Vedic rules and regulations will be subjected to many contagious diseases. This Because the students in this Krishna conscious movement are advised to follow the Vedic principles, they naturally become hygienic. It was a very nice verse.
Yeah, please take note of all this. Of course, we are recording it, so you can always play it back.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
nice.
Very relevant, all these are.
yeah.
So if you don't follow, then we will become a Yavana and Malacha.
I think this is the verse that you gave class on last time, was it? A week ago, maybe? 2 weeks ago?
I was giving a class on this verse.
Yeah.
So, and I'm noted for giving lectures.
You must be very busy doing.
They think that I'm just only lecturing. That's all. But you have
Thank you for giving,
you have to practice. If you don't practice, what's the use of your words?
wasting so much time. Actually, the other night when we were supposed to have the class with you,
Uh,
the other night at the Sunday program, was supposed to have class with you. Because we had the internet failure. We actually, Sankarshan and I gave class to the people there. There's only 4 people there, but they reading some, I think it was a 262, 63, and some verses from the 2nd chapter. Everyone's those 4 people, it was kind of a small class. People were very, very excited about it. And then at the end, some people bought Bhagavad Gita. The new man that came, he bought Bhagavad Gita, chanting beads, and wanted to go home and chant. Okay. And bought SSM, yeah. So it was actually a good evening.
I think you should do that class there. I mean, I can come on to, of course, if you got some serious man coming on board, that's another thing that you can invite him to come here.
Yeah.
Basic people, all you can handle.
What's that, Prabhu?
You can handle the newcomers. You understand?
Okay, yeah.
There's
For
somebody
serious people.
more
So,
serious, then yeah, you can bring him to this group here and then he can come on board and hear.
okay.
Yeah.
When they got good Wi-Fi connection.
I'm speaking related to this, and,
What's that?
subjects which are mainly, for devotees,
Yeah. Many for devotees, yes.
Like now I'm speaking on the CC and the Chaitanya, and this for not for new people, They won't know what I'm saying.
Good for them, for sure.
Like
Okay.
new people, and then the one more serious you can, who's actually reading proper books, then you can come on this one.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do that.
And I can always be there speaking the basics too, but I think it's easy for you all to do that, no? Eye contact and so many things,
Okay, Prabhu. We'll do that.
So you have any more questions?
I will have more questions, yeah. Let me. I don't as of yet.
What about all the Matajis? They are very quiet. There's no sound.
The kids is take care of the kids. Kunima is listening, but the kids are falling asleep on her lap.
Oh, I see. Now
My wife has a.
the wife has gone to put the other one to bed, huh?
I need my phone because the question's in relation to my phone. Sorry, everybody. I just need to get my phone so I know what questions to ask.
Where is it?
The
You
phone,
let
huh?
me. Yeah, so I was sent an email by someone and I just wanted to ask you about it.
No, send me an email.
Yeah, from, I don't know how they got my email address, but I was just curious about these people. Oh,
What is in the email?
sorry, people, give me 1 minute. I think I might have deleted it.
Who's that?
Oh, some offshoot group saying that Ritviks didn't know what they were talking about. Oh, Bhagavat Dharma Samaji. Do you know who that is?
Bhagavad Dharma Samadhi.
Samaj, yeah.
What
Have you heard of them before?
No, it's a new word for me.
Oh, hang on.
I know
Hang
that.
on. Got that
You know,
here somewhere. He's Mahamadhamaleshwar Mahant Krishna Balaram Swami.
okay, please
Yeah.
don't at all. These guys are rascals.
I was just curious because they sent an email to our email address with this whole thing. I was just curious.
Because he thinks that only a Brajabasi can be a guru.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I was because I read their letter. I was curious.
And also, not only that, he's caught having so many illicit sex with so many women. That's why they kicked him out of the movement.
Because he was with Madhu Pandit. Oh no, one of his disciples was with Madhu Pandit and then came to him. That's what they were saying.
Madhu Pandit, maybe one boy who was with me, who came from Madhu,
Yep.
and he left me and he went and joined this guy,
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Charu Gopāl,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
These guys are rascal, He couldn't even cook a little breakfast for the Lord in Pondicherry,
Yep.
You understand? He was trying to join us, but then he found that, he could not cope with our standards, So suppose
Yep.
I found a bona fide man who does all this nonsense,
Yeah, right.
And I
Never heard of it before.
because he fell down with a woman in Malaysia and she had a child with him, and the child looks exactly like this guy.
Oh, really?
Even do a DNA test, By looking at the boy, you can tell for clear,
Yeah.
So don't read any of this stuff, Just forget it.
Yeah.
The person
Yeah.
is all this kind of thing. What kind of knowledge he can have in his head? So he plays this kind of a racial line, I'm born, I'm on the body platform, I'm a Basi, this kind of thing doesn't work on a spiritual circle.
When I read that, I thought that was pretty misunderstanding the philosophy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I've
Yeah.
And what about the Goswamis? Well, two of them were the Muslim in the beginning.
So you see how you have to be very careful, because by playing the racial line, they will have some kind of group, because everybody's on the racial terms anyway.
Mm.
I'll show you one verse again here.
Upanishad 7. I think I'm not sure this one.
Can you get this? Except for the Madhyama Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari described above, no one can correctly see the spiritual position of the living being. Is that clear?
Yeah.
You understand? Unless he's a Madhyama or a Uttama Adhikari, he cannot understand, he cannot come out of this bodily platform. That's why
Okay.
It's a nice verse.
the neophyte always fight, because he's on the bodily plane.
Mm.
You follow? Yeah?
Fight. You fight.
Sorry.
If you fight, you're a neophyte.
You just come up with that?
Well, he said that.
Yeah.
Got to be very careful to know, what's what, because this whole world is flooded with so many nonsense,
Mm.
especially with the social media. And no less, every day you're going to get so many, You understand? And nobody, our whole protection is the scriptures, but nobody is referring to them. Yeah?
No, definitely not.
Correct?
Correct. We actually, we call him Voldemort now, but he's, Ajaya,
Hmm? Who is
the
that?
guy, the devotee not devotee, the guy that came here to get initiation.
That
He
guy.
now has a property around here somewhere.
That's some property, huh?
Yeah, trying to start a community of some sort.
He's not doing anything though.
No, he's not doing anything though. Yeah,
I haven't heard anything.
we've seen him in restaurants eating.
Listen, I mean, again, attitude, how far you will go. Let us see.
They don't think very far.
See this verse here.
$7.14 for me.
Read that.
Sometimes a neophyte devotee offers all the paraphernalia for worshipping the Lord, and he actually worships the Lord as the deity. But because he is envious of authorized devotees of Lord Vishnu, the Lord is never satisfied with his devotional service.
Hmm?
Worship the Lord as a deity, and never satisfied. Deity worship is especially for purifying the neophyte devotees. Actually, however, preaching is more important. In Bhagavad Gita 1869 it is said, Natatasma manushoshyas kashinmi vriya karatamaha. If one wants to be recognized with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he must preach the glories of the Lord. One who worships a deity must therefore be extremely respectful to the preachers. Otherwise, simply worshipping the deity will keep one in the lower stage of devotion. Yeah. Preaching before deity worship. Is it going simultaneously?
Understood? Hmm?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, bro. Understood.
So many guys, they just use all these things to, without, one cannot preach the holy name of the Lord throughout the entire world, unless a devotee who does so is criticized by new, what is that again?
Yeah. We went wrong way.
Nevertheless, a devotee who does so is criticized by neophyte devotees, Kanistha Adhikaris, who are on the lower stage of devotion. For them, deity worship is strongly recommended.
Yeah, right.
Deity worship was introduced in Treta Yuga. So anyway, our whole idea is that we should be careful. I point out a few things here. Maybe you can play back and listen to them again, understand things as they are.
Yeah.
Because so many crazy guys are there, they just want to exploit everybody, make an easy living.
Mm. Make some money.
But it will not last. You can, as the popular saying goes, cheat all the people sometime. You cannot cheat all the people all the time. You can cheat some
Yeah.
people, but not all the people all the time. It's not possible. Especially for one who has knowledge, then she cannot be disturbed. See, there's another verse here.
Exactly.
22:20. Let me check for you. I forgot this verse.
By interaction of mind energies, different opinions arise. With those who have fixed their intelligence on me and control their senses, differences of perception disappear, and consequently the very cause of the argument is removed. Yes. I haven't seen that one before. 7:22:6. Those who have fixed their intelligence on me and control their senses.
I can go on whole day with this.
Yeah. That kind of sums up everything.
And they say I'm lecturing only. Anyway, we have to learn, the books, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
We were
ma'am.
reading Prabhupada's section reader in the morning. Yeah. He was saying this morning wanted to study at least an hour per day.
It's very important, especially to study with the devotees. It's more important.
Yeah. Yeah. No, these classes are good.
Well,
These classes are good, especially for grihastas like myself. Anyway.
I don't know, you are engaging me in some service, otherwise I'll be spacing out.
I didn't think you ever spaced out, Prabhu. You're always busy. Dancing, phone call, anything, talking to devotees, giving class same time, and looking after daughter.
I have,
5 things up.
I have another one at 9 o'clock again.
Oh, really? Where to?
Orissa.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Tomorrow
Every
again.
day you're doing class?
And tomorrow to London. Saturday I
Yeah.
have classes like that. Sunday
Okay.
again classes. And
You having dinner now?
uh,
You are having your dinner now?
at 6:30, so I go still half an hour more with you.
Ah.
You don't want my association, is up to you.
Oh, we like to fly over there and have class every morning, but the materialists won't let us travel.
The Zoom is good. You can always interact like this.
Yeah, yeah.
I like to keep
It's quite a nice program.
itself, so they have any personal thing, they can always refer to me. Sometimes they have
Yeah,
something they don't want to ask. It's too many people from other places around.
yeah.
Like your yatra, you have your link,
Yes, true.
be, in that way, decentralized. Of course, you can always hear so many other classes and all that, But you may have some personal requests like how to push the movement, so many things. So I think it's good. Slowly you expand the group.
Slowly getting down, up and down, really.
Invite the Thomas to come to your group as well because Tuesday is supposed to be New Zealand, but they do it once a month or something like that.
Oh, okay. So
So
we can do on Tuesday is okay.
you can call. Yeah, you can do Tuesday as well.
Which day is good, Prabhu? I don't mind.
Up to you.
Tuesday is better for
Yeah, Tuesday. Even 7 p.m. Tuesday, okay?
Yes, 7 p.m. means mine 5.
Yep. Okay. Gonna
Yeah,
put these boys to sleep.
because they will do at 3 o'clock or something.
Oh yeah, they're 3 hours in front of us.
Mm. It's good. We can discuss, and this way we can. This is a verse I'm sure I've quoted many times.
30, 3:33. One should learn how to associate with the devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the Lord. This process is most purifying. As devotees often develop their loving friendship, they feel mutual happiness and satisfaction, and thus by encouraging one another they are able to give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. Yeah, I remember you quoting that in Singapore quite a few times.
Yeah,
No.
this verse. This is the answer.
Mm.
Strictly follow whatever, especially the morning program. If you can do that, whatever you have in your heart and brain the whole other day, it just gets all wiped out and cleaned up.
Yeah, feeling that now. Very much satisfied and happiness.
That's, this is the
It's
main,
very true.
all your, anarthas in the heart, by knowledge, you get completely, satisfied.
Yeah.
Because it's coming from God Himself.
Yes.
Yes. And Krishna says here also, that if you have all this knowledge, but you don't do this, then it's also pointless. Understand this verse?
Knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully.
So if you get this knowledge and you're not going to, have any kind of a devotional program, it also is useless.
You're right.
Can read
Yes,
this?
sir.
Lord Brahma is the topmost devotee within the universe, and therefore the personality of Godhead replied to his four principal inquiries in the four important statements, which are known as the original Bhagavatam in 4 verses. Invoked Brahma's question. What are the forms of the Lord in both matter and in transcendence? How are different entities of the Lord working? How does the Lord play with his different energies? And how may Brahma be instructed to discharge the duty entrusted to him? The prelude to the answers in this verse under discussion, wherein the Lord informs Brahma that knowledge of him, of the Supreme Absolute Truth, as it is stated in the revealed scriptures, is very subtle and cannot be understood unless one is self-realized by the grace of the Lord. The Lord says that Brahma may take the answers as he explains them. This means that transcendental knowledge of the Absolute Supreme Being can be known if it is made known by the Lord himself. By mental speculation of the greatest mundane thinkers, the absolute truth cannot be up to the standard. That cannot be understood. The mental speculators can reach up to the standard of impersonal Brahman realization, but factually, complete knowledge of transcendence is beyond the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Thus it is called the supreme confidential wisdom. Out of many liberated souls, someone may be qualified to know the personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said by the Lord himself that out of many hundreds of thousands of people, one may try for perfection in human life. And out of many liberated souls, one may know him as he is. Therefore, the knowledge of the personality of Godhead may be attained by devotional service only. Rasayam, devotional, means devotional service. Lord Krishna instructed Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita because he found Arjuna to be a devotee and friend. Without such qualifications, one cannot enter into the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, one cannot understand the personality of Godhead unless one becomes a devotee and discharges devotional service. This mystery is the love of Godhead. Therein lies the main qualification for knowing the mystery of the personality of Godhead, and to attain the stage of transcendental love of Godhead. One must practice the regular principles of devotional service. Practicing the regulated principles is called Vidhi Bhakti, or regulated devotional service of the Lord. And they can be practiced by any. Sorry?
Vaidhi Bhakti or Vidhi Bhakti?
Vidhi.
Yeah.
Oh.
Vidhi or Vaidhi.
Or regulated devotional service of the Lord, and they can be practiced by a neophyte with his present senses. Such regulative principles are mainly based on hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. And such hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord can be made possible in association with devotees only. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended 5 main principles for attaining perfection in devotional service of the Lord. First is association with devotees, hearing. Second is the chanting, the glories of the Lord. Third, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the pure devotee. Fourth, residing in the holy place connected with the Lord. And fifth, worshipping the deity, the Lord, with devotion. Such rules and regulations are parts of devotional service. So as requested by the Lord Brahma, the personality of Godhead, we'll explain all about the 4 questions put forward by Brahma and others also which are parts and parcels of the same questions.
Very clear. Huh?
Yeah, very clear.
So you see how important that we have to practice devotional service. That means, these 5 limbs are given there. And that is our morning program. Our morning program includes all that.
Hearing, chanting, remembering.
Waking up in the morning, taking bath, attending Mangalarti, studying the book, chanting the rounds, associating with the body. Very important.
That is the basis of the movement, isn't it?
And that is the foundation.
The foundation, sorry, yeah.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
If you don't want to do this, then it's going to be bad news. Just like many people, this is the biggest problem in our whole movement, entire movement. Nobody wakes up in the morning and practice this Mangalarti and all that.
Yeah.
Yes, you have seen who is doing
Yeah.
that. And the result, become again, as Prabhupada said, Punar Musika Bhava, Understand?
Yep. Manjir. One should say with devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, recite a Mathura, and worship the deity with faith and veneration. These 5 limbs of devotional service are the best of all. Even a slight performance of these 5 awakens love for Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur points out that there are 35 items up to the point of observing special vows in the month of Kartik. To these 35 items, another 4 are added, namely making tilak on different parts of the body, writing the names of the Lord all over the body, excepting these 4. That just didn't spin me out then. Writing the names of the Lord all over the body, accepting the deity's garland, and accepting Charitamrita. These 4 items are understood to be included by Kaviraj Goswami, but within Archana worship of the deity. Although these items are not mentioned here, they are to be added to the previous 35 items. Thus, the total number becomes 39. To these 39 should be added 5 others. Association of devotees, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, reading Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, residing in Mathura, the birthplace of Krishna, and worshipping the deity with great respect and veneration. The 39 items plus these 5 come to a total of 44. And if we add the previous 20 items to these 44, the total number becomes 64. These 5 items mentioned above repeat previously mentioned items. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami states, the glorification of these 5 items, association with devotees, chanting the holy name, and so on, is to make known the complete superiority of the 5 practices of devotional service. The 64 items of devotional service include all the activities of the body, mind, and senses. Thus, the 64 items engage one in devotional service in all respects. With love and faith, one shall worship the lotus feet of the deity. One should taste the meaning of the Srimad Bhagavatam and the association of pure devotees, and one should associate with the devotees who are more advanced than oneself and who are endowed with a similar type of affection for the Lord. Haven't seen those for a long time. The words Jaya Yes, Snigdha Sadhu Sangha Svatovare are very important. One should not associate with professional Bhagavatam reciters. A professional Bhagavatam reciter is one who is not in the civic succession, or one who has no taste for Bhakti Yoga, simply on the strength of grammatical knowledge and jugglery. Professional reciters maintain their bodies and their desires for sense gratification by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. One should also avoid those who are averse to Lord Vishnu and his devotees, those who are Mayavadis, those who are offenders of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, those simply dress as Vaishnavas or so-called Goswamis, and those who make a business by selling Vedic mantras and reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to maintain their families. One should try not to understand Srimad Bhagavatam from such materialistic people. According to the Vedic injunctions, Yaset Dive Para Bhakti, Srimad Bhagavatam can be recited only by one who has unflinching faith in the lotus feet of Krishna and his devotee, the spiritual master. One should try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam from the spiritual master. The Vedic injunction states, Bhaktya Bhagavatam Grahayam Na Budya Na Chatya Tikaya. One has to understand Srimad Bhagavatam through the process of devotional service and by hearing the recitation of a pure devotee. These are the injunctions of Vedic literature, Shruti and Smriti. Those who are not in the civic succession and those who are not pure devotees cannot understand the real mysteries or mysterious objective of the Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
Nice purple.
One should congregationally chant the holy name of the Lord and reside in Vrindavan. I wish. Shridhar Dastakur is sung. One who understands the transcendental nature of Navadvip and its surrounding area, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enacted his pastimes, resides always in Vrindavan. Similarly, living in Jagannath Puri is as good as living in Vrindavan. The conclusion is that Navadvip Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham, and Vrindavan Dham are identical. If one goes to Mathura Mandara Bhumi for sense gratification or make a livelihood, he commits an offense and is condemned. Whoever does so must be penalized in the next life by becoming a hog or a monkey in Vrindavan Dham. After taking one such body, the offender is liberated in the next life. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that residing in Vrindavan with a view to enjoy sensification surely leads to so-called devotee to a lower species. Oh, interesting. The power of these 5 principles is very wonderful and difficult to understand. Even without faith in them, a person who is offenseless can awaken his dormant love of Krishna simply by being a little connected with them.
Okay, so you see how very important this thing is.
Yeah.
Prabhupada has given us this 5 things. Waking up, worshiping the deity, chanting our reading Bhagavatam. This is our morning program.
Super important.
And one time Gokul was telling that, oh, Sundar Gopāl, your morning program, your Mangalarti is very strong. Mine, my morning program, it starts at 7 o'clock. Can you imagine that?
I remember.
Anything, and I said, this guy, something wrong with his head. You understand? This is called compromisation.
He will always be a valuable lesson in devotional service.
Oh, he started you all off and started you in the wrong way,
Yeah.
and then becoming violent. That's another thing.
And that was the disturbing part.
Unfortunate, this is all unfortunate because they don't want to learn anymore. That's now we're at, one should learn how to associate with advanced devotees. Right?
Yeah, they're not advanced. He's like a Malek. He's called a Malecha, right? Or Yavana because he does not practice the Vedic scriptures.
One to taste the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of pure devotees. One should associate with the devotees who are more advanced than oneself and who are endowed with a similar type of affection for the Lord. It's what to do. I'm not once. I mean, look, but that's judgment. So, anything else to add to a long discussion?
I have some more questions, but maybe another time. Next week, I can ask more questions.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this session.
Yes, Prabhu, very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was a bit quiet. I'm just cooking at the moment.
No cooking, huh?
Yeah, preparing for tomorrow's market.
Oh, okay. You're taking up your time.
How's your health now, Prabhu? Better?
Very busy people. So, okay, I will
have
the link back to you so you can, copy the recording and hear it later whenever you want, sir.
Okay.
Prabhu, how's your health now?
My health,
Better?
no,
Yeah.
they're sitting around and shouldn't go sick by that, right? Okay, so far so good, I decided from going outside and getting the disease, no? This thing is, of course, it's hampering our traveling, but I think for now, the Zoom seems to be quite a good alternative.
There's always an option. Yeah.
Basically, I can relate, I can share with you some of my realizations.
Very good. We're very fortunate.
So it is good,
Advanced devotees.
whenever you're free, you can run through these things, maybe refresh your mind more.
Okay,
Yes,
Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you for class.
thanks for giving your time.
Oh, yeah, I will stop the recording.